Good morning. My name is Mike Hare of the Bacini Polling Group, and it's my pleasure to welcome you here for this groundbreaking of what is rapidly becoming Hotel Row here on Wilmington's riverfront. The clouds don't tell the story today because the sun shines brightly on our city and on the riverfront as we break ground on another significant project. A significant project that will draw visitors to our city, that will create employment both in construction and permanent full-time jobs. And we're pleased that you're here to join as we mark another milestone in this extraordinary history of Wilmington's riverfront. Pardon me. We're gathered here with some folks that have a little bit of history with the riverfront, and none of us probably could have imagined 20 years ago, 23 years ago, that this would be home to 3 hotels, possibly 4 hotels, Wilmington's Conference Convention Center. The infrastructure continues to expand with the development of the bridge that will connect both sides of the river. And as we look behind us, we can only imagine what the future of the riverfront will be as we develop the eastern shoreline. We're joined by significant friends, people who have been here since the beginning, people who have expanded and new roles in the city and in the state of Delaware. And the first of those to speak to us today is someone who was the original staffer to the board of the Riverfront Development Corporation. He's done well since then. He's our governor. Please welcome our dear friend, John Carney.
Thank you, Mike. It's great to be here with all of you this morning. The sun isn't shining up in the sky, but as Mike said, it's shining on all of us and those who've been involved in the riverfront for so long. Mike and I were the first staff people that worked with Governor Carper at the time in getting this going. And back in those days, Senator Sokola, nobody could imagine that we would have 3 hotels. Nobody could imagine that we would have thousands of people working here on the riverfront. Nobody could imagine that we would have people, over 1,000 people living on the riverfront, but folks just believed. And I think that's my message for everybody this morning. There's a lot of really good things happening in the city of Wilmington today, not just on the riverfront, thanks to the work of our mayor, our council president, and their teams. And this is just another example of the good things happening. I spent 6 years in Congress, so I was moving back and forth along the Amtrak line from here to Washington, D.C., and I can tell you nobody has a better gateway to their city than the city of Wilmington here on the riverfront and with the Joe Biden train station. So I just want to thank all the people who've made it happen over the years. Mike Brzezicki, who's now our mayor, who was the riverfront, the first executive director, BPG and their team and all the work that they've done over the years. I would also like to, Megan McGlinchey's not here, but I'd like to single her out and her team for the work that she's doing and the work that she did previously working for the mayor. And I would also like to thank Senator Sokola and other members of the State Bond Bill Committee who've made significant resources available to the whole riverfront, installing a lot of the infrastructure, being part of a lot of the projects that were done along the way, and continue to be strong supporters of what we're doing. And Senator, it's great to have you here. We're going to have a bridge down here a little bit that's under construction, that it will connect this side of the river with the other side of the river. A lot of exciting, opening up a lot of exciting opportunities for the other side of the river. I spent 8 years as lieutenant governor, so I know how to turn some gravel or sand or whatever is in there into groundbreaking. This is another exciting one for me, and I want to thank everybody who had a part in making it happen.
Thank you, Governor. Our next speaker is someone who needed no map to get here this morning. It's our mayor, and it's my privilege to welcome him back to the riverfront, although he's never left. I know it's a big part of him. We worked together for years, and much of the success you see is kind of the delineation between the dreamers, the drivers, and the doers. And the dreamers, of course, I think back to Russ Peterson and all those folks who created this vision for the riverfront. The doers, there's countless members of the doers. The drivers, I think of Tom Carper, our governor, who his inspiration, his passion was to see that this riverfront became a reality, and it has. So chief among those doers was the executive director of the Riverfront Development Corporation. Now I'm pleased to say he's our mayor. Please welcome Mike Przicki.
Thank you, Michael. Both of them forgot to say that they really hired me. I mean, I remember when I went for the interview, there was John and Mike interviewing the candidates for that magnificent job that really kind of changed my life in so many ways. What a rich and wonderful experience it was. The other night, the other morning, Betty and I just got in the car, went down to Banks, and we walked the Riverwalk. And I have to tell you, it's just extraordinary. You know, it's to see what has happened after all the work we put into this over all the years. The great members of the staff at the Riverfront Development Corporation, and all the people who made a contribution along the way to come here today and see what all that work has resulted in is really, it's so heartening, and I feel such a sense of kinship with all of you who contributed to those things, to these great projects over the years. We all can be so proud of something remarkable, and I think. And it's worth saying that Senator Sokola's here. I don't mean to embarrass the senator, but the senator has been a board member forever, and obviously in a position in the General Assembly to support this project when not everybody thought that this was a worthwhile project. And today, the RDC just did another fiscal impact study and saw that for the hundreds of millions of dollars that have been invested in the riverfront over the year, meaning every single nickel that the state could have put into it, the roads and the environmental cleanup, that much and more has been returned to the state. And you know, it takes a certain kind of prescience. It takes a little bit of being willing to take a risk on a project and believing in us. And nobody's done it more than the good senator, his colleagues on our board, and those members of the General Assembly who believed in us and believed in what we were doing. So I'd like to also suggest to you that the RDC is in remarkably good hands with Megan McGlinchey, who can't be with us here today. But I just talked to Brian. He said they went downtown and they had dinner at Farmer and the Cow. Then they went down to the movie theater and just had a great time. And that's really what you want. It would be a better story, Jamie, if she stopped and played golf on the way, but that wasn't part of the report. But you know, so when you come around here, you see people who believe in what's possible, and nobody. I don't think there's any one of our partners in this city who's believed more in what's possible than the Buccini Polling Group, Chris and Rob and all the folks who are committed to our city in such a big way. So this is just another great example. Some of you are surprised. I'm not surprised. I've watched this happen time and time again, and I know when these guys say they want to do something that it's going to get done. So I thank you for your continued confidence in our city, in your belief in our city, your tremendous investment, and for the great partners that you are. And I look forward, as does the President of Council, Hanifa Shabazz, on working with this great organization to make this city grow more and more prosperous every day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Our next speaker is our City Council President, Hanifa Shabazz, and we have become great friends with Buccini Polling Group and Hanifa over the years. She was our district council person for a number of years, and we worked together on several things. One, to help grow the downtown and the riverfront together. But Hanifa was steadfast in her belief that as the city grew and we created more opportunities, that all residents of the city share in those opportunities. And we've been pleased to work with Hanifa to see that that happens. And we have been another opportunity here with the 30 full-time jobs, with the 100 construction jobs, and we look forward to continue to be your partner, Hanifa. Please welcome the President of City Council, Hanifa Shabazz.
Thank you, Mike. As I was listening to everyone's comments, I was thinking about my own self, that I was a junior council member, 4th District council member, when for this district when a lot of the things that was happening here on the riverfront. So I cut my teeth on the growth of the riverfront and even downtown Wilmington. So I couldn't just hesitate. I had to jump right in, and because you see all these things were happening, I had to get involved, and it was a great learning opportunity for me. And the fact that I could come to them and they could hear my voice when I insisted, and I say insisted, that the communities took advantage of the growth that was happening in the city of Wilmington, and they always was obliging. We had many job fairs, and many of the local residents have benefited from this growth. So the city of Wilmington collectively is moving forward with this types of initiatives, and I'm excited to see that we have even another one coming. So I thank everyone who has participated in all these years of the development of not just the riverfront in downtown Wilmington, but things that are happening in our neighborhoods as well. I'm speaking on behalf of the residents that they thank you as well, because it's opportunities for them to also have a better quality of life and opportunities for them to grow for their families. So let's continue to work together, make this hotel be another stellar hotel. We'll be able to invite individuals on a national level, because I wanted to host a national conference here for quite some time, and we now will be able to do that. Sarah, I'll be able to work with you on that conference we was talking about. We'll be able to do that now because we have the beds to do so, and we continue to make Wilmington a place on the map that people want to come and visit. So thank you all for participating and making this all happen.
Thank you very much, President Shabazz. Our next speaker, he bears no introduction in our firm. He, along with his brother Chris, are the drivers. It is their intense passion to grow our city, and not only to grow it, but to grow it in a very significant and prosperous way. Their force of will literally has transformed our downtown and has contributed to the expansion of this riverfront. Please welcome my dear friend and the co-founder of the Vicini Poland Group, Rob Vicini.
As Anifa said, at the end of the day, this is all about helping the entire city, not just one part of the city. And what I very much look forward to, Anifa, is when we opened the Westin, we had a job fair for 700 people, showed up 2 days in a row. We ended up hiring 100 people, the majority of them from the city of Wilmington, and that continues to this day. Our hotel team has done a great job in continuing to hire locally. It's led by Joseph Bojanowski and Bill Silva, who is the GM of the Westin. They've done such an incredible job that we've been able to have other hotels come. So when we built the Westin, it was really pioneering. There hadn't been a new hotel built in over 2 decades. And fast forward, we brought a great new product. Revenue went up. Occupancy that was being displaced outside the city came back to the city. And this is the 3rd new hotel that will be built since then. So we obviously have the Residence Inn in the downtown, which looks beautiful, the Hyatt next door, and then here the Homewood. So we couldn't be any more excited about how we will hire additional people locally. We have 1,000 people that we employ here in the city of Wilmington and right outside of Wilmington that work directly for us and our hotel management affiliate, PM Hotel Group. And it's great because Dave Poland and the whole DC team, that's something that they very much focus in on, how proud they are. And in addition to the 1,000 employees that we directly, I hate to use the word employee, but our associates, we have over 1,500 that are indirect on our different construction sites and our various vendors. So that just shows you what the impact of the riverfront is throughout the city. The other note is I was at a youth tournament, which I do most weekends, and which the difference between this weekend and 6, 7, 8 years ago was at the tournament I had person after person after person on Saturday said, I was on the riverfront on Friday. I was at Banks, I was at the beer garden, we went to the movie, there was a Blue Ox game I think Friday night, and then there was people at Chelsea Tavern. 6, 7 years ago, people would look at you like, is that really going to work? I think we were still concerned, Chris and I, that maybe it wasn't. So we've come a long way, and I couldn't be more proud. I want to thank our construction team. Rick is here. He will be leading the construction. He makes this look so easy for all of us. And I'd like to thank our lenders, First Priority Bank and WSFS, for having the courage to do this loan. It's a great brand. We're going to make them proud. And Ron, we appreciate your early leadership for doing that. So thank you, Ron. It's a big loan, and it's creating a lot of jobs, so we want to thank you. I'd like to thank our city council president. I'd like to thank the mayor, the governor, Senator Sokolov. The other thing that struck me on the way here is there's so few developable land parcels on this part of the river now. The river is really on this side getting fully built out, so we look forward to going to the other side. It's obviously a proven template, and the other side will be, I think, much quicker just because the hard part is past us. And I wanted to thank our architects, our attorneys, Young Conway. Gene, thank you so much for coming. Nancy Bergeron from RK&K. We ask you all to do so much in such a shortened period as always, but thank you for the quality of work that you continue to do. And again, thank you to the Weston team for building a market that we're able to continue the momentum that you created. So I think that is it. And I also want to thank Megan McGlinchey. She's not here today, as Mike noted, but she is a great person to work with. I'd like to say she's tough but fair, and she is been a pleasure to deal with. So thank you all.
I did want to acknowledge the co-president of Bacini Polling Group, Chris Bacini, the kinder, gentler Bacini in the audience today. And also Wesley Schwant. Where is Wesley? Schwansky, the president of the BPGS Construction, and also leads all of our hospitality construction efforts, which is indescribable right now, how well things are going on the construction side in hospitality. So with that said, I'm going to ask our VIPs and get your dirt, then you can toss it on my 3. 1, 2, 3.